Hey folks, were you like me and just watched that incredibly disappointing nothing burger from the Democratic Alliance? Wow. The Democratic Alliance gave President Ramaphosa cheekily a 48-hour ultimatum to sack the corruption-accused members of his cabinet after he sacked Andrew Whitfield, ostensibly for traveling abroad, but that seems like a flimsy excuse because when Mapisi Nakula did so in September of 2020, illegally using South African aircraft to fly civilians in the ANC to Zimbabwe without permission from the president to even make the trip abroad as a serving minister, cabinet member, not simply as a deputy minister, and then illegally used South Africa's Air Force to transport civilians there. Not only was she not fired, but she was just given a letter of reprimand and docked some pay. But Andrew Whitfield goes to the United States after requesting permission to get sacked. It's not about that, folks. It's not about Andrew Whitfield going to the States. It's about the fact he's been asking uncomfortable questions about the National Lotto. Paul Mashatili's name is coming up in that. Also about a number of other things going on there. One thing I have to say about this event, this presser that took place with the Democratic Alliance, is I was truly impressed by the behavior, the conduct, and the questions of South African media. Oftentimes I'm not impressed by South African media, but in this press conference, with the exception of the first question, every question was legitimate, on point, and wasn't abusive or, pointed. It was actually a legitimate question. I think the best question of the day came from Nkosi from Power FM. Well done, my friend. Well done. He asked the question, does the DA need the GNU, the Government National Unity, or does the Government National Unity need the DA? Interesting question, which really wasn't answered fully, in my view, by the members of the Democratic Alliance. They're focused on service delivery. They keep talking about service delivery, but it's not about service delivery, folks. Service delivery is abysmal in South Africa, yet the ANC still controls most municipalities. It's not about service delivery. It's about much more than that. They need to package something stronger than focus on service delivery. Watching this whole situation, it felt like a lot of this was tied to the fact that John Steenhuisen and the DA's feelings were hurt, that they've been treated so shabbily by the ANC. And we heard Helen Zille when she got up actually explain that since the very formation of this government of national unity, the agreement, the coalition agreement that the ANC and the DA went into together, the ANC has violated. They tried to change the terms of it before it was even in effect. So they never honored the GNU. So why is the DA in the GNU? This is an initial hot wash. I'll give a more in-depth analysis later on after the Springboks Barbarians game. But the bottom line here is that there is no reason to be in the GNU. And we keep hearing the nonsense, and it's said by John Steenhuisen again at Yvonne Meyer, that if they don't do it, the doomsday coalition will take place. The MK is not going to go in coalition with the ANC. Jacob Zuma would destroy the ANC. Or MK would become more popular. Not going to happen. And the EFF doesn't have the votes. So enough of this nonsense. This was a big nothing burger. So disappointing.